Kenya's former Prime Minister Raila Odinga claims he is best suited to fight corruption in the country. And of course, there's an upcoming poll. Odinga has told the SABC in an exclusive interview that his main opponent, Deputy President William Ruto, cannot be trusted to fight corruption, one of the issues that are to blame for the country's current economic crisis. He dismissed claims by Ruto that his campaign is being funded with the proceeds of corruption. The two, of course, are the frontrunners in next month's general elections.
I think the people want me to run because they feel that injustice has been done to me and also what I represent. They believe that I represent change in this country, and that's why they want me to have another trial.
Why do you feel it's important for you to give it a fifth try?
I don't feel that it is important. I carried out consultations with the people countrywide. They, you can say, overwhelmingly say that I must run again this time round. And that's really the reason why I'm responding to the request of the people of Kenya.
You've previously run on a platform of reforms. Are you finding it difficult now to continue pushing that agenda of reforms, considering one of your main allies is a person that you have previously criticized as being an anti-reformist? I'm talking about President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Precisely, that is why I'm running. I mean, not President Kenyatta, because President Kenyatta is outgoing. I'm talking about the candidate I'm running against. I would say that he represents the past, therefore cannot be an answer to the future. And all the things that he's talking about are basically rhetorics, which really have no connection with the reality in the ground. His record itself speaks volumes about himself. When we were campaigning for change, the struggle for second liberation, he himself was defending the status quo at that time.
Wouldn't it have been better for you to have policies that can outlive you in your manifesto, that can outlive you and outlive offices that come after you, rather than just throwing money at issues as we see now in your current manifesto?
What we are talking about is transformation of our economy from just merely a consumer economy depending on imports of virtually all the essential goods and services to a country that is self-sustaining. In other words, what we're saying is we are going to put more effort and energy and capital in production, manufacturing as the engine for growth. And then we're also talking about the digital economy. And then also expanding and making the service sector more efficient in this country. That way we are going to be able to create wealth. What we are trying to now offer in terms of services to the people are going to come out of what we are going to produce. So the economy is going to expand. And we want to see this economy expanding in double digits within the next 3 years. Okay? So with that kind of growth, we will be able to now provide what we are talking about. Like dealing with the vulnerable, the poor who live below the $1 a day. We will be able to provide the health cover, what we call the Baba Care. We will be able to deal with the youth unemployment much more effectively. We have also said we are going to deal with corruption. If we deal with corruption, we will be able to get quite substantial savings. At the moment, with the admission of President Uhuru Kenyatta, you're losing nearly 700 billion shillings. That is like $7 billion to corruption. If you just have that, you have enough money, because this money to help the poor families is just 6,000 shillings per family per day, per month. Works 12 billion shillings per month, 144 billion shillings per annum. And if you have the corruption, you get over 350 billion. Then you can also be able to deal with the issues of supporting the single mothers and providing for healthcare cover generally, just without changing much right now before you deal with expanding the economy. So that's why we're saying we must begin to fight corruption.
But I wanted you to answer your opponent. We had an interview with him earlier today, and he says that he doesn't believe you can fight corruption because your campaign is partly funded by COVID billionaires. What do you have to say about that?
I don't know those so-called COVID billionaires. My campaign funding is there in the public domain. I'm getting contributions from friends and well-wishers. Some of them are very small people with very little income. But they just take it there and put it in my account. My account is available for audit, my campaign account. People can look at it. What we are doing is not new. It's done in the United States, at times even the UK. In the US, it is even tax deductible, the amount that is given by the private sector to fund the campaign.
Do you trust your main opponent, Deputy President William Ruto, then, to fight corruption?
He is himself Mr. Corruption, because look at his lifestyle. He contributes in Arambis on a monthly basis, equivalent to 100 million shillings. His salary is only 2 million shillings. You don't know any other business that he runs that generates that kind of money. The kind of money he's spending, even if Safaricom, the biggest corporation, cannot do that. See, so it is Mr. Corruption. It's working, lives and sleeps in corruption. And it's known. The projects which are overpriced, you see, when there was a dam scandal, Aurora and Kimorer, he went to say that he had lost 20 billion. He said, no, it's not 20 billion. It's only 7 billion. Only 7 billion shillings. See, 7 billion shillings is 70 million US dollars. That cannot be only for a small economy like Kenya's.
Looking through your manifesto, it's difficult to tell what your foreign policy priorities will be. So what exactly are they?
First, to begin by our neighbors. We are an East African community. We want to strengthen the community and try to move it towards the dreams of the founding fathers of our nation. That is the East African Federation. I'm going to work very closely with the neighbors to see that we move the community towards a federation. And we'll expand it. I was just talking to the new president of Somalia, and he is keen to join the community. We want to see peace and stability restored in Ethiopia. The same thing in South Sudan. Because that way we are going to create a much bigger market. And as you can see in our manifesto, we're trying to position Kenya as a gateway and a manufacturing hub for this region, which has got about 400 million people. Then on the continent, there are African area, free trade area, working with the African Union. As you know, I have been the AU High Representative on Infrastructure Development. I have made very many friends across the continent. And I know the continent widely as far as infrastructure is concerned, whether it is Trans-African highways, the high-speed Trans-African railway lines, the ICT fiber optic network in the continent, the energy. We've been talking about the Inga dam energy for the continent that will create stability, the open skies so that you can have cheaper air transport in the continent with having one command. So I'm a Pan-Africanist, and we want to really see more closer working among African countries. Internationally, of course, we are members of the Commonwealth. We remain members of the Commonwealth and work with others to continue to achieve the spirit of the Commonwealth movement. Then we have bilateral relationship with many countries in the world, and we want to strengthen bilateral relationship with all the countries in the world. We will want to emphasize the need for trade and investment. We want to trade with each and every country. We want to see a more fairer terms of trade that does not disadvantage our country. There's too much imbalance between us and so many other countries. So we want to try to negotiate so that as we buy from you, you also buy from us, whatever we are producing in terms of comparative advantages. But then we are saying that we want to attract foreign direct investments in this country. We have talked with several potential investors here. There's a lot of interest in Kenya. The hindrances are factors that are also known to us. One is our immigration rules. The other ones are the bureaucracy and the red tape in our system. The third one is corruption. The fourth one is the cost of energy. We'll address all those issues. But as I said, we will be friends to all those who want to be friends with us, and we don't want to have enemies.
Are you happy with what the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, the IEBC, has done so far in terms of preparing for the elections? And will you be willing to accept the outcome of these coming elections?
The onus is on the IEBC to conduct free and fair elections. Kenyans have had enough of the mishandling of elections. Kenyans don't want to see another election bungled by the IEBC. So we are basically putting them on notice that whatever has not been done, which should be done by them, there are 3 more weeks left. Let them do everything possible to ensure that these elections are free and fair. Kenyans will not forgive them if they bungle it. If we lose fairly, we will accept results. We will congratulate the winner.
I'll now give you a chance to look straight into the camera and speak to the voters and ask for your vote.
I would like to appeal to you to exercise your democratic rights in these elections. These are historic elections. I have said that these elections can only be equated by 2 before it. Kenya has had already 2 liberations. The first one was in 1963, when we ended colonialism and became an independent nation. The second one was in 2002, when we had a change of power for the first time after so many years of single-party dictatorship. That eventually ended up with a new constitution in 2010, and that ended the dictatorship and created a democratic governance. This one here coming is going to mark a new era. And you're saying that this is going to be the third liberation, and this is economic liberation of our country, so that our country can transition to a middle-income economy that uplifts our people from poverty to prosperity. Therefore, every Kenyan, wherever you are, turn up and vote. Vote for change. Vote for Azimio, and vote for Raila Odinga and Martha Karua as president and deputy president, respectively.